Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tiger TV's special coverage of Hurricane Gustav. I'm Lance Frank.
And I'm Brittany McCrae. Hurricane Gustav is threatening the Louisiana Gulf Coast and central parts of the state. We've got all the information you need to know concerning LSU and Gustav and how to stay safe.
But first, hurricane tracker Eric Vollenweider has the latest on Gustav as it continues to swirl through the Gulf and heads our way. Eric, what's the latest?
Thanks, Lance. The latest from the National Weather Service has Gustav's coordinates at 27.3 north and 88.1 west. With maximum sustained winds of 115 miles per hour, the storm is still classified as a Category 3 hurricane. Although many projected by this time tonight, Gustav would have strengthened to a Category 4, Gustav is still proving pretty fast at 16 miles per hour. The latest track out of NOAA projects Gustav to land as a Category 3 hurricane near the Homa area about 8 a.m. Monday morning. If Gustav were to follow the projected track, the upper right quadrant, which packs most of the hurricane-force winds and hard rain, would pass over the Baton Rouge area early tomorrow afternoon. I'll have more on how to stay safe during the storm a little later on the show.
Thanks, Eric. The LSU basketball season doesn't start for another 76 days, but the PMAC is packed tonight with sick patients from across the state escaping the wrath of Hurricane Gustav. Tiger TV's Rachel Frost tells us why the cathedral of LSU basketball has been transformed into a temporary hospital.
With lessons learned from Katrina, preparation has begun early for Hurricane Gustav.
This is a medical special needs shelter. We only take those that have been coming in and go through triage. The medical staff will determine if the patient needs to stay here.
The LSU campus is currently using the Pete Maravich Assembly Center as a triage facility for patients with critical needs.
This PMAC facility will hold 400. That's 200 patients and 200 caretakers. And we're not at capacity yet, but we're about halfway.
Here at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, authorities believe that they have only faced the calm before the storm. But with Hurricane Gustav quickly approaching, they are expecting to reach full capacity by tonight.
Round-the-clock care is being provided to anyone in critical need.
I think the doctors are looking for them to be, they're trying to get them as stable as possible, depending on how long they've traveled and where they've come from. So they're trying to just stabilize them and see what ward they would belong in.
Most of the patients who have come to the facility are elderly in need of care that they would typically receive at a nursing home. In addition to the medical staff, volunteers have been working around the clock transporting patients and unloading supplies.
Basically helping out special people that have been bused in or flown in by helicopter, their critical care, so helping them out, like people who are with them, their primary physicians, like helping with ice chests, moving beds, if there's a spillage, moving them around, stuff like that.
The PMAC has prepared for the worst-case circumstances.
FEMA and LSU has arranged a generator for this facility. So we have a generator that's going to take care of that if electricity and power fails.
But even still, officials are not underestimating the power of Gustav.
We're expecting it probably to be as bad as Katrina.
Reporting for Tiger TV, I'm Rachel Frost.
For information on other medical facilities and shelter locations, visit the LSU homepage at www.lsu.edu.
Well, the PMAC isn't the only place on campus that has taken on a new role. The Agricultural Center was the first stop for buses out of New Orleans carrying people who needed medical help. Tiger TV's Amy Vetrano talked with some of those volunteers at the Ag Center.
The LSU Ag Center has been transformed from helping animals to helping humans. The center became a stop for patients being transported from New Orleans to northern Louisiana. Volunteers from throughout the community are helping out to make sure the process goes smoothly.
What we do is enter the vehicle, assess if the patient is well enough to make that long trip. If they are, we send them on their journey. If we have some issues and think that they may become ill along the way, we will take them off, send them to the medical special needs shelter here on campus, which is at the PMAC, or if they're bad enough, we'll send them. We have strike teams consisting of 3 medical personnel and volunteers. The medical personnel go on the bus and assess the patients. The volunteers are available to help bring the patients off the buses, retrieve their personal belongings, and also bring water and snacks on the bus.
These volunteers did not need any medical knowledge, but it was welcomed.
We have nurses from around the Louisiana area. We have medical students, third-year students. We have just LSU students.
For Tiger TV, I'm Amy Vetrano. I on LSU.
The triage stop at the Ag Center will close tomorrow before Gustav hits Baton Rouge with heavy rain and wind, all to ensure the safety of those workers.
As Hurricane Gustav approaches the Louisiana coast, Volunteer LSU, along with the EOC, called for help, and the LSU community responded. I caught up with a few of LSU's volunteers today to see how progress was going. Volunteer LSU has over 700 LSU students, faculty, staff, and members of the community working around the clock to help hurricane operations here on campus. Volunteers are split into 4 time shifts to ensure that help is always available. During these time shifts, volunteers are split into 2 main groups, one helping at the bus triage at the Ag Center and the other here at the medical needs shelter at the PMAC. Certain jobs are assigned at each location.
The bus triage, where we're taking people off buses, what volunteers will do is, after the doctors and nurses do their evaluations, our volunteers go onto the buses and bring water, snacks, words of encouragement to the people that will be staying on the bus.
At the PMAC, volunteers are doing more than just assisting doctors and nurses.
They also, connect with the patients there. They help bring them, pillows, blankets, food if they need it. They also help with the logistics there, setting up, registration tables, things like that, helping with supplies.
Warren Quarit is volunteering at LSU again, like he did during Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
Comparing Gustav to Katrina, the actual volunteering, I think Katrina was more like chaos, I guess you can say, because there was no sign-in. We just all showed up. We knew it was here. We had the helicopters going. They just heard on the news, so we just all showed up.
For Chantel George, she feels this experience is going to help her career.
Actually, I'm a pre-med major, so I'm right in my alley working here with the public health department. So working with those in need and very sickly doesn't bother me at all. I'm actually really excited about doing it here today. So,
Volunteer LSU is predicting that the need for volunteers at the PMAC will become greater as the storm passes through, and they are ready to meet those needs. Reporting for Tiger TV, I'm Brittany McCrae. If you're interested in volunteering, please visit www.lsu.edu/hurricane and click on the volunteer registration form.
Coming up on our special coverage of Hurricane Gustav, we'll take a closer look at how the storm is shaping up, where it's going, and what you should be aware of.
And we'll see how students on campus are preparing for the worst. Stay tuned, you're watching Tiger TV.
While most students packed up and left the Baton Rouge area, others chose to have their family members come and stay with them in the dorms.
Tiger TV's Amy Hutchinson went into the residential halls to see how some families are making themselves right at home.
With less than 12 hours until the expected landfall of Hurricane Gustav, the few LSU residents who remained on campus are bunkering down. And although over 3,500 students have left the residential halls, they're not all alone. Students like Katie Duckett are getting a unique opportunity to share their rooms with none other than their own families.
I would have been fine in the dorm, but it's nice to have company.
And Katie's mom, Loretta, is grateful for the open room at the engineering hall.
I was a little nervous about her staying here, although I knew she'd be safe. And then when she called and said that we could come here, I thought, well, that's a good idea. It's a lot less traveling time. I'd be with her.
Residents were given specific instructions on how to register their guests at the front desk and are allowed to have up to 8 immediate members of their family stay, with the exception of pets. Katie is unsure of how long her mom can stay with her, but knows it's short term. For Tiger TV, I'm Amy Hutchinson, tracking Gustav.